Uh, Haley's watching.
Oh my
Good.
gosh.
There we go. I know. So we'll do this. We'll do this.
They're going to see how the donuts are made.
Oh no.
Now what'd you do? Did you
And
break it?
Tara Carlson. Now we see how the magic happens. Okay, so I'll have to run it from my phone just to so for those of you guys that are watching this is the first time without tests that Denny and I are trying this Facebook Live thing. So bear with us. Bear with us. So I'm going to make that go away. That's still running live. And then I guess anything live that we get, any questions or anything that do pop up, I will just be able to see it from my phone.
Okay.
For right now, I think this will be a good way to start it and kind of adjust from there. So, all right. So we'll see if any questions do pop up for right now. But yeah, we should be good to go. That can go away. Denny, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Yeah.
Welcome, craft beer friends, to Season 7, Episode 10 of Tap the Craft Podcast. I am Denny Luce, coming to you from Boise, Idaho, and my partner in craft, the dog whisperer, and my favorite Florida man and homebrewer from Tampa, Florida, Mr. Chris McKenzie. How you doing tonight, Chris, and what is in your glass?
So, Denny, I'm doing really well now that Mark Church said, yeah, we can all tell it's your first time. But I'm doing really good tonight, coming off of my last day of Thanksgiving break. Got to go back to work tomorrow.
Nice.
But in my glass tonight, and Denny, this is going to be the first time that we get to do this.
Yes.
I'm drinking the Gadget Milkshake from Four Fathers Brewing out of Indiana. For those of you who can see it, this is, do we have enough light to get that?
Yeah, I can kind of see it.
Focus. Whatever. It's a double IPA with mangoes, lactose, and vanilla bean. So this was actually one of the beers that we just talked about on our that Joel and I tried out at the day drinking at the beer garden the other day.
Yeah.
So I really like this one. I'm definitely glad they sent me 2 of them.
Oh, good.
Now I can hoard them over here and enjoy them.
I know. Yeah, we got to see if they can feel the love and send me a couple of those too.
Yeah. But what about you, Denny? How are you doing, and what's in your glass this evening?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. I'm going to open up my beer right now. I'm just getting off of 1 week of vacation. It was nice. I got to spend some time with my daughter, Haley. I think she's watching us now as we record this. And I got to spend 3 days with my grandson, so that's always nice, although very tiring with a 4-year-old running around. He's very active and, but you know what? He found Legos. We had Duplo blocks for him earlier, in the beginning of, when he was a baby. And now he asked if he could play with my son's box of Legos, or I think they were talking about Legos, and my son said, yeah, I got a lot of Legos that when I was a kid. So he broke out the old bin of Legos, and all 3 days that he was there, all he wanted to do was build stuff with Legos, build spaceships, build robots, build, cars and planes and everything. And it was really, really fun. And it's a nice time. And of course I made the turkey, made my homemade stuffing, stuffed that bird, not as stuffed as Vic stuffed his bird, because I saw pictures of that. And that bird was stuffed. In fact, it was overflowing stuffed. It was so full. But it was a good Thanksgiving. We had a 22.5-pound turkey, so I'm still eating turkey. I hope we gave some to my daughter. If not, I'm going to be eating turkey for like a month because we got a lot of turkey left. But yeah, it was good. It was good. And now today I'm back at work, which is a little bit, hard to do when you have that many time off. Now. But I am drinking something good. Now, everyone knows that I'm a big fan of black IPAs, Cascadian dark ales, and a lot of breweries just aren't brewing these anymore. And it's really sad because I really do love my, black IPAs. So I saw on Untapped, one of my local friends was was talking about a beer that he was drinking and really enjoyed it. And I know that I like this beer too. And I said, oh, I'm going to go pick up a 6-pack of this when I get a chance. This is from Pelican Brewing. They're an Oregon Coast brewery. I'm trying to remember if they're out of, shoot.
Well, Haley said, while you're thinking of that, Haley said she got a whole sandwich bag full of turkey. Pelican, Pacific City, Oregon.
Yeah, Pacific City. That's it. Yeah, I was trying to remember the town. So, for anyone watching, I got the bottle here. It's called Bad Santa, and this used to come in 22-ounce bottles, and now they're releasing it in these nice, nice 12-ounce bottles. So it's an easy drink. You don't have to, pop open a 22-ounce. So yeah, I'm going to be drinking that as soon as his head goes down. I haven't taken a sip yet because if I do this, I'm going to be wearing it right here. And
pretty much. Yeah.
That's not good. But yeah, I'll be drinking this, and I brought a cooler up here, so I have a couple more beers. I'm also going to be drinking this.
Not just me.
Yeah. This salted caramel porter from Cascade Lakes. This is a beer again that used to be in 22-ounce bottles. And when it was in 22-ounce bottles, I think everyone, my daughter and I both agree, and my wife Sarah, that it was better. It was heavier, a little bit heavier, thicker, and it had more salted and caramel flavor in there. And this one's just kind of like a little bit weaker. I noticed the same thing when I had it last year. I think this is the first year they had them in cans, so. I'll be drinking that one too. We bought 2 6-packs of it, hoping it was going to be better than it was, but it's still good. It's not a bad beer. It's just not as good as it was. In fact, Haley didn't even take any home with her, so I don't think she liked it at all. We'll find out if that's a fact.
I guess we'll see what happens in about 10 or 15 seconds if she's still watching. But hey, I want to just give a hello to a handful of people. Mark Church, yes, we can tell it is your first time. Haley, always good to see you on here. Bill McElwain, my buddy down here in South Florida, who I went to culinary school with. Josh Mansfield, Jeffrey Seiler, Jesse Niehez.
Holy smokes.
My cousin Eric Brendel. Josh said he tried that Bad Santa last year at his cousin's for Thanksgiving.
Good. So, did he say he liked it or just tried it?
He just said he tried it. So you've got one more beer in your cooler, I think, and you showed off what you were going to drink. I think I'll do the same thing because normally when we talk about our beers that we're drinking, it's Haley said, it wasn't bad, but not good enough to take home. So I've got the double raspberry shake from Great Notion Brewing.
Oh, nice.
Out your way again. I believe they're in Oregon.
And I've never had Great Notion. I need to go there and have it. And
Tavor has now ruined me.
Yeah, well, they don't have, Tavor doesn't send it to us. They only send it further away. So I won't be ordering from there. But I see their photo, like their artwork is always that type of artwork, and it's really unique. And I enjoy looking at the artwork.
And Eric Glover says, Denny!
Hey, Eric. How you doing, buddy?
And then I have a second one here just as a backup. Always a good one for me.
Yeah.
I actually, I think I got 4 cans of this the last time I did place an order. And our friend Tina got a hold of one the other day, and she was like, oh, this is really good. Where'd you get this? And I said, I got it from Tavor. I said, but I buy these every time we go to Las Vegas for training. I always buy a 6-pack, or I try to smuggle back as much as I can bring.
Yeah.
As much as I can.
And that beer is Cali Cream and Cream Ale, just vanilla cream ale, just in case. I don't think we said it. We just showed it. So anyone listening to this on just the audio version, which hopefully still a lot of people will. That's what's going on. But I guess we should probably explain that we're doing video of this, and we're doing it, and we're actually showing it on Facebook Live. This is the first time. Chris and I, just on a whim today, I said, hey, you know what? Now I got new internet. I think we can try to do video. And I really like the stuff that we're doing with the Fermented Reality Beer cast. And I thought, you know what? I think our listeners, some might want to watch and see how we do this. Watch us live. Get some some pictures of the beers we're drinking like we already showed. And even when we're doing some of the articles and stuff, we might be able to switch over to show what we're talking about. So it's kind of a fun way of doing it. Now you can see the unedited version. And then if you can remember, if you have a really good memory, you can then take that unedited version you saw and compare it to the audio version that comes out, more refined later.
Yeah. Well, I think there's going to be a little difference of this is that we're going to do this Facebook Live, and like I said, we'll see how this goes, and if it works out pretty well, then we'll just continue doing it on a more permanent basis. But I don't think this is going to be something where we're going to take this whole hour or 2 hour video and edit it down to throw it on YouTube. And actually, I can do YouTube Live through here as well, but I can only do one platform at a time. So we'll stick with Facebook.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, let's just do Facebook and get people that do. I mean, how many people are on right now?
Currently sitting at 9 people.
Okay.
Eric Gronley is on here too.
Oh,
with us.
nice. Hi, Eric.
So,
yeah,
actually, well, I was gonna say we could probably find a way for you to be able to see the other side of it too, but I'll be just interjecting.
Yeah.
As soon as something pops up or somebody says something.
Okay. Okay. This is a good way for us to, lately we haven't been getting very much feedback. So this is a way to get feedback live as we're doing the show. If people are interested in spending a few minutes with us while we do this, I'm sure that not everyone is going to sit through the full hour and a half, 2 hours of us talking live, but you might pick us up for a few minutes and just to get just say hi and let us know that you support us. We appreciate that.
And this episode will release on Thursday, guys. So, Eric Gronley, hi, guys. Cheers to Monday. Mike Mahoney, the beard grew back. Yeah.
It's growing. Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Growing, man.
Doesn't take long.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. If you guys have any questions or anything that you want to toss in here too, I'm trying to keep an eye on my phone down here and see who's saying what. So we'll try to answer questions and stuff as we go along. But, Denny, what do we tell the people who might be new to the show?
Well, you know what? In case you are new to the show, Tap the Craft Podcast is an educational podcast. We focus around celebrating all things craft beer because we want to assist you, our listeners, along in your craft beer journeys and adventures. And you're listening to episode 166. We're recording on Monday, November 30th, 2020. And in this episode, we're going to discuss, a few beer-influenced holiday recipes. It is a holiday. We just got done with Thanksgiving. And I thought, before we get too close to Christmas, maybe we can talk about some beer-influenced recipes that people might want to go ahead and try during the holiday season. Now, these are going to be focused mainly on holiday-type meals, or, I won't say whole meals. I'll say, what do you call
dishes?
Dishes, yeah,
entrees,
holiday dishes. And I've got a few. I got some sides. I got some main course. I've got some drinks. And desserts. And I have one website that I think if you are really into to cooking with beer, I just found this one and I'm really impressed. This guy goes way overboard on explaining exactly what to do, and he's really using like a lot of beer in his foods, not just a tablespoon, right? He's really found ways of integrating the beer into the recipe, and we'll talk about that one towards the end of that list that we'll be doing. But go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say, Haley said I've been behind the scenes before, but I like the video. Plus, this helps remind me to listen to the show. Also, I take this as a compliment, Haley. Also, it might put me to sleep because your voices are so great. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And then Eric said, I hate craft beer, but I love Denny.
That's right. I've gotten Eric to drink craft beer that he actually enjoyed. Most of it he doesn't enjoy, and he doesn't, he chooses not to drink craft beer. But you know what? He always gives it a try. So I really appreciate that. Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, you know what? You can also count on some great conversation that we've already shown you that we have. Chris and I, we love talking about beer. So stay tuned. As I mentioned, we don't have any feedback. We don't have any voicemails. But if you'd like to leave a voicemail, you can do that very easily. Just call us at 208-536-3359. Or if it's easier for you to remember, 208-53-ODDLY. And just leave your feedback. Just say hi if you want, and we'll put it on the air.
Okay. Well, how about we do this? Again, I think we're going to be kind of playing this a little bit by ear because we have somebody asking a question already. Actually, my cousin Josh said, "What's a favorite hard cider that you would recommend, and what craft beers would you recommend?" Ooh, this could be just a multi-purpose whole segment on its own. Um, Favorite hard cider that you would recommend, and what craft beers would you recommend to try for those who have particular tastes in what they drink? Now, that could be a very broad response, Josh. It could also be a very involved response.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know Josh, he had mentioned earlier, he's more along the side of, let's see, what did he say? He mentioned something about I'm more of a hard cider guy, plus like Kahlua mudslides and Irish car bombs kind of thing. But I mean, if we were to look at hard ciders, I mean, it depends. Do you want it sweet? Do you want it dry? Do you want somewhere in the middle? My guess, Josh, from the things that I see you drink and that you post on Facebook, is probably going to be somewhere on the sweet side. And if you guys can get it in Ohio, Cigar City makes a cider called Homemade Apple Pie, which is just fantastic. But that's definitely a good recommendation that I can make as far as ciders go. Any ideas for you, Denny?
So this is tough because we have a very, very good cidery here in Boise called Merriweather Cider. I've mentioned them on the show a number of times. I mean, you might be able to find their stuff on Tavour maybe, or some other thing. They might do some kind of thing like that. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think mostly they are here locally in Idaho. I'm not sure how far they go out, but man, they make some fantastic cider. And they have a semi-sweet, semi-dry. Both those are, I mean, they sound like they're the same, but they're not, right? One's a little bit more drier. The semi-dry is a little bit more drier than the sweet, but not too dry. And the semi-sweet is a little bit on the sweeter side, but not too sweet, right? So it's like they're not right in the middle. They're just like a little bit to the side of each other, but they're both really good beers, ciders that if you don't like either of those two extremes, you'll like those ciders. So that one I like. There's a number of flavored ones. They have a cranberry one, which I can't think of the name right now. They have a gin and tonic one. It tastes like you're drinking a gin and tonic with apples cider. They have a blackberry boom, they call it. It's a blackberry cider. It's really good. That's like the flagship cider. They're really good. Now, the owners of this and the cider brewers or cider or whatever they're called, makers, they went to the same school as Seattle cider. Now, Seattle cider, maybe they also can be found in certain areas. I'm not sure how far they distribute, but the ciders are almost identical because they learned to make them in the same school. And they are all 6.9% ABV. And the guys at Brewnomics did a fantastic interview with the owner and head cider guy, Jib, and he really explained exactly in the interview why the cider, why their cider always comes out at 6.9. It just happens to be the fermentation process with the apples they use and the sugars that are in there. It just automatically comes out to that for all their ciders, which is nice.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but Seattle cider's same thing, right? It's really good, clean cider. I think they all use the same apple supplier too.
Right. Well, so I think, let's see. We got a recommendation of Rekordeling, which is a Swedish cider company, which we get down here in Florida. Josh, I don't know if you'll get that up where you guys are, but they make a lot of good stuff as far as different blends of fruits and things like that. Mike Mahoney wants to know what the perfect craft beer is for PS5 hunting. Barley wines, barley wine on top of barley wine on top of barley.
Just get wasted, man. It's not worth it. Those things are like impossible to get.
And I've been watching them just go for sale on Facebook and eBay and stuff for thousands of dollars. I saw one for $12,000, and my buddy Michael Carla said somebody was advertising one for like $12,000, and man, it's I think people are out there paying it. They're actually paying for something like this. Wait 6 months. You'll get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait a year. You'll get it. Keep playing your PS4 or keep playing whatever Xbox just released. I'm sorry, I don't follow Xbox too much, but just wait. Just give it some time.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll come eventually.
I mean, some of the new games that they're releasing anyway, right now through Sony, you can play on either platform. So what's it matter?
Yeah.
But that's just my kind of my perception. And then got to jump in on Jeffrey Seiler's comment. This is a great idea, guys. Kind of like watching sausage being made. Love it. Cheers.
Yeah. Who doesn't like sausage?
Well, anyway, and then Bill, you asked, what's the deal with Allagash in Portland, Maine? All of my friends rave about it. Bill, we get Allagash here in Florida. I don't know if it makes it down to you, but I know we get it here in Tampa. Very limited stuff, but Allagash been around for quite a long time. They're just making solid beers. If you can find it, I'd recommend getting a hold of any of the stuff that they put out.
Yeah, especially if you enjoy Belgian and wild inspired stuff, right? They do a lot of that.
The biggest one that always pops into my mind is their white.
Yeah, the other white.
That's a Belgian.
I think they do a lot of Belgians. I know that I'm going to go to Allagash. In fact, if this COVID thing wasn't happening, we would probably be doing these trips a lot sooner than we will, because now everything's kind of on hold. But I want to go with Tara Carlson and Jim Kudzol when we go. We're going to go with them and just enjoy some Portland, Maine. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, they're in Maine, right?
Yeah, they're in Maine.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I had a brain fart. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, are they in Maine? They are in Maine. But yeah, we'll go up to Portland, Maine, and do some beer, pub crawling, brewery crawling, and drink some Allagash. And I'll probably have to pack some back. I'm wondering if I should just drive so I can just load the car full of it, so I can make sure I have plenty of supply when I get back.
I feel like you could do a couple of different things. I mean, my go-to move is kind of like, I'll do a couple of things. One, I'll either bring an extra suitcase and put nothing in it. But that's, again, we normally fly Southwest with all of our stuff because we have a Southwest credit card and that kind of thing. But I just bring a second suitcase because you can check your 2 bags for free.
Yeah, well, you still got to keep the weight under 50 pounds.
50 pounds,
and
sure.
With those 750 milliliter bottles that they're maybe they've reduced the size to something more reasonable, but they start to weigh in pretty quickly.
But I've also carried a bottle shipper. That bottle shipper that I brought to Vegas, that I checked that in as my second bag.
Yeah.
So you can pile 2 cans in each. It holds 12 bottles, but you can put cans on top of each other or put a single bottle into each one of the pockets in there. So yeah, definitely ways to do it. If you want to drive, though, good luck. That's a long drive.
No, it is a long drive. But I don't know. Maybe I hope it's not going to be by the time I retire that I actually do this trip and we're driving the country. That would be bad.
Nah. Yeah. And Josh, I'll recommend the what beer to drink getting through the last weeks of college work. Barley wines. Yep. Or actually, it's either you go big or you don't drink at all. You have to finish before you can celebrate.
Yeah, barley wines, Russian Imperial Stouts.
Yeah. And then
Eric
also said, don't name it, but is there a craft beer that you find disgusting?
Oh, wow. That's hard because I try to not remember things that I don't like. I'll say one, I'll even name it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'll come back.
I know what it is.
Wait,
I know what it is.
Tell me what it is.
It's that voodoo donut, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I saw that pink bottle. I knew exactly what you were talking about. Is it the lemon chiffon one?
No. This is the bacon maple. Bacon maple donut one.
Okay.
This beer, not only was it expensive, and I told Sarah we were. I don't remember where. I don't remember where we're at. We were somewhere, and I told her, "No way, I'm not going to buy this beer." It sounds, for one thing, I know that bacon in beer, imitation flavor, tastes like crap, and in maple is always too sweet.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to drink this beer, but she bought it for me. 25 ounce or 22 ounce bottle. Yeah, 20,
whatever bombers are.
Oh no, it's 25 ounce bottle. And I said, well, you know what? Even if beer's crap, I have this awesome bottle that I can put on my shelf. And so she bought it. Opened it up. I poured her a small little taste of it. Poured it in there. She takes one sip, spits it out in the sink, pours the rest in my glass, and I'm forced to drink it. The beer truly was horrible, and I hope they never ever make this beer again because it was exactly what I thought it'd be. Way too sweet, and that smoky imitation smoke flavor just makes every time you took a sip with that sweet maple and that smoky flavor made you want to just puke.
Yeah.
But I drank the entire 25 ounces because I wasn't going to waste that $25 beer.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. And it's sad because if you ever get the chance to visit a Voodoo Donuts, they have one at Universal Studios here in Orlando, and yeah, Eric, it might be a 3-hour total run. Who knows? But the Voodoo Donuts, I mean, they're a little kitschy. They're a little, they're very touristy, but they make some really good stuff. And Sarah might like this too. They make some vegan donuts. They make some gluten-free donuts. They make some dairy-free donuts. So especially like with Megan, she can't have the dairy, but she can still have these, great donuts that she really enjoys. So, but what about so I don't want to get sidetracked on these questions all night too. So I think we'll grab these kind of as they come in. We want to make sure we kind of stick to our outline too.
Yeah, we should probably continue on. It was a good little sidetrack. It's good to do that, but and we don't have a full show, so it's okay.
No.
It's okay. I didn't feel it. Although we always can talk for 2 to 3 hours. We don't have a problem with that. It's shutting me up that's hard to do. So you guys, I love having these live questions, but let's continue on for now. I just want to go ahead and give some credits and some people that deserve some credit. This episode is brought to you in part by our satisfied Patreon supporters like Mike Allen and new Patreon supporter William Schlimmer. Both are our virtual producers. We have Tom Berm. Yeah, thank you. We have Tom Berm, Jeff Seiler, Johan Halberg, Taro Carlson, Chad Lamassa, and Mark Church, who want to buy us a virtual beer. And if you enjoy the content we provide, we invite you to support the show by toasting your hosts or buying us a virtual beer or even becoming a virtual producer. You can explore the options on our support page by visiting patreon.com/tapthecraft. Oh, okay. So, we don't have any questions, but if you would like to, write into the show, you can do that through our email at tapthecraft@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at tapthecraft. And of course on our Facebook page, because you're already here watching us live at facebook.com/tapthecraft. And we have our website. Don't forget our website, tapthecraft.com. All right, Chris, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, look, we have some listener questions still that we can get into if you want to do like one or two. We'll do one, and then we'll move into the Untapped, the craft segment.
Okay.
This might be a tough one to answer. So actually we'll do the short part of this first one. Eric Gronley said, did you guys embrace Small Brewery Sunday? I ended up grabbing a few from a brewery in my hometown that just opened in July, and another I hadn't tried in a year. Really good beer close by is the best. I'll be honest, Eric, I didn't know Small Brewery Sunday existed until right now.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a lot of posts on social media about it. I didn't know it was something that I should have went and checked out. So my answer, no, I did not. What about you, Denny?
Honestly, we went and bought local beer. We have local beer I'm drinking. But I didn't go out Sunday. Sunday was the day that we didn't have anything to do. Just Sarah and I, it was our day to rest before we went back to work. So we just stayed home. We didn't even get out of our pajamas. Yeah, that's how lazy we were. We just kind of chilled, watched some Netflix and just enjoyed just relaxing before we went back to work. So sorry, I didn't participate either.
Well, apparently this is only the second year that it's been in existence. And last question, then we'll move on to this Untapped segment. What's your favorite Goza?
Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. How can I pick one?
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna say, I can't get it unless I go to Seattle.
Okay.
Reuben's Brews Goza. I mean, I have a couple of different ones. I'll just say the regular Goza. All their Gozas are fantastic, but Reuben's Brews gold medal winning Goza. So
Oh,
obviously, that I mean, it's quality stuff, and
yeah.
I love their Goza. Now, if I drink Gozas that I can get here, into my area, I will say it has to go to Anderson Valley Gozas. They have a blood orange Goza. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Their melon one.
and the melon one, the briny of the
Mm-hmm.
melon is fantastic. It's got that watermelony character to it, or
Some
Medora,
salt
like
and the
Medora.
salty too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and those are really good quality Gozas. And I think Anderson Valley gets around,
They do. We get
pretty
them
good.
here.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I recommend.
I'll recommend this one. It's gonna be hard to see on my screen, but it's called Xmas Pickle.
Oh, yeah, you guys drink
Okay.
that.
So this is from Urban Artifact in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the Xmas Pickle was I was surprised, man. I really was. Pickle beer.
Hmm.
Okay, well, let's give it a shot just for the sake of it. It was really good. I mean, it was definitely salty. It was definitely that briny flavor that you normally see in the gozas. There was a hint of pickle, but it wasn't anything just too over the top where you said, "Oh, I'm actually drinking carbonated pickle juice."
Mm-hmm.
It was really it was refreshing.
What
It
type?
was
What
nice to
type of
have.
hint of pickle was it? Hint of sweet pickle
Dill,
or dill?
dill,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, it was really nice. Those may be tougher to find here in our area. But man, Goza's it's like every other beer style, guys. It's
Hmm.
you just got to go through them, try to find one that you like,
Yeah.
and then once you find the one that you like, go find some others because there's plenty of them
Hmm.
out there.
Yeah.
Plenty of them out there.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
all
Goza's
right.
a great style. All right, Chris. So let's continue the conversation because it's now time to untap the craft and see what our listeners are drinking according to Untapped.
All right. So we're gonna start off 21 hours ago.
Okay, now let me tell you,
Hmm.
Tom Joseph, he does all of his check-ins at one time. So
Okay.
if he has a lot
Well,
in there, just go ahead and skip through the ones he rates.
Well, here's the great part about Tom. His last check-in made it for our 24-hour
Oh,
cutoff.
okay. So he has one.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He has one. So, well, at least that I've seen so far, because it goes from these check-ins are from 21 hours ago, and then it jumps to 9 hours ago. So
Oh.
people were sleeping and not drinking beer all night.
Come on. Where's all our international listeners?
Slackers. All right. So Tom Joseph checked into the I voted today by the Virginia Beer Company, and he just wrote, very impressed. Nice flavor for a pale, 4 1/4 caps. And I've been really enjoying these I voted beers. I've had a couple of them that has just been very good. They've either been kind of lighter beers, but the two or three that I've had have just been fantastic. They really have. Next on the list, here's our international listeners.
Okay.
Johann Hallberg is
Yes.
drinking an Orval by Brasserie de Orval. Dry, distinct bitterness, but not overwhelming. Just a hint of Brett. Well carbonated, as you'd expect from a Belgian beer. Actually really balanced, and I can see how it pairs really good with food. Gave that a 4 cap rating for that beer.
Nice.
And I'm sad to say I've never tried that one.
Oh, God, so it's one to try. Come on. You
Yeah,
can get it.
I know.
It's everywhere.
I'll add it to the list. I really will. Next on our list from 9 hours ago, Kevin Page is drinking a Fat Clouds by Arcane Ale Works. Kevin, you basically drive by my house every time you go to Arcane, and,
He should bring you a beer and drink it with you, right?
well, I've traded. I swear I've traded beer with him before. It was a long time ago. I feel like I met him at Angry
Yeah, you
Chick.
did. You did.
Yeah.
You guys met up, a couple years ago.
He gave this beer a 5 cap rating, and with the beers that I've had from Arcane in the past couple of months, I can see why. But it's called Fat Clouds by Arcane Ale Works, 5 cap rating, and he writes, "Ooh, that smell," but
Oh.
put Citra smell in there to go on with his check-in. And next on the list, Will D is drinking. Ooh, this is a good one. A Delirium Noel Christmas.
I love that beer. Yeah, that's a good one.
All the Delirium ones are just
Yeah.
they're so good. Gave this a 4 cap rating. No notes on that beer. JC is drinking a Narwhal Imperial Stout by Sierra Nevada.
What do you rate that?
4.
Okay.
4 caps.
Okay, so I got to stop because I just picked up a 6-pack of Narwhal because it's one of my favorite beers. And I it's not on my new and noteworthy because something changed in the recipe this year. And it's not the same beer that it's been so many times before. It's just lacking something. It's just not all there. Have you had any Narwhal lately?
Not. I had a barrel-aged one fairly recently. The last one that I checked into, at least on Untapped, was in 2015.
Okay.
I gave it 3.75 caps. I actually wrote notes on this one. Good flavors, but finishes with tastes of celery. But
was
hey,
that,
you know what?
was that your Cuban sandwich you just finished eating at the time?
No, that was 5. That chicken was almost 5 years ago to the date.
Oh, you weren't even in Tampa back then.
No, that was a Giant Eagle with my buddy Art, the Portage Crossing Market District over in Cuyahoga Falls.
Okay, yeah. So Narwhals, I like it normally, and normally I give it like a 4.5 or so, and this time I think I gave it a 3.5. I think I lowered it.
Well, looking at the most recent check-ins from it, I'm seeing 4, 3.75, 3.75, 3.5. It doesn't knock my socks off.
Yeah, something changed. Something changed. In my opinion, something changed with the beer, and it's just not as good as it was, which is sad. Okay, continue on.
All right, next one. Robbie is drinking an Antagonist ESB by Barrier Brewing Company. Hit the spot. 4.25 caps for this beer. I love a good extra special beer.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Next on our list, Mr. Jeff Seiler is drinking a Coffee Bender by Surly Brewing Company. People are all still checking in at that Untapped at home location. Nice brown ale with coffee, a bit thin. I was hoping for a bolder coffee flavor. A little disappointing as I love this brewery. And had heard great things. 3.5 caps for that beer. Next on the list, Stephen Brown, right here in Tampa, Florida, is drinking a Citronius Big by Calusa Brewing. 4.5 caps for that beer. Let's see. Got to get Johan in here again, drinking an Old Viscosity by Port Brewing Company. Writes 10% ABV in a 19-ounce can. Sure, why not? A no-frills stout with roast and dark bitter chocolate. Very smooth. Finishes quite dry. Excellent. 4.5 caps for that beer. Port Brewing out of San Marcos, California. I'm always curious to know how people overseas get beers like that.
Yeah, probably the same way a distributor.
Well, and it is. And I was looking at Port Brewing Company. You know, they've got over 500,000 check-ins to their beers. So never mind, I take it back. But yeah, just a distributor. Let's see. Next on the list, Jeff Seiler again drinking a Body Electric by Wise Man Brewing. Really tasty, hazy double IPA, tropical and citrusy. The label art is awesome, and the beer is too. Solid 4.25 caps for that beer. Continuing his check-in streak for the 77th week in a row. I don't know. Chad Lamassa is drinking a Stone.
A Stone brewer?
This one, no. Staropolsky Mioden. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with.
Okay.
And they're out of a country that they're out of Poland. Yeah, so I'm gonna stick with that. Yeah. Okay. Chad, this is even better. Another tough one for Chris McKenzie to try to pronounce on Tap the Craft, though not as bad as last Monday's check-in. Bravo, sir. Bravo. That's awesome. This is just straight up honey. Nothing wrong with that at all. 4.5 caps for that beer. This is a good beer to check into as well from Chad. The Winter Welcome Ale 2020 to 2021 by Samuel Smith. Probably my favorite beer for this time of year. I always look forward to it all year. 5 caps. 5 cap ratings for that one. And we're going to hit refresh and see that Eric Gronley is drinking a Snowstorm 2020 by August Shell Brewing Company. He wrote coffee, chocolate, smooth and sweet. Now that's a good take on this year's snowstorm. Great style to do this year. 4 1/4 caps. And last, but certainly not least, Matt Knight is drinking a sugar cookie by Ellicottville Brewing Company up in New York. And he writes a nice, light, refreshing dessert beer. It's sweet and delicious, just like me. 3 3 3/4 caps on that beer from Matt. I'm going to hit refresh just for the hell of it. And that's what everybody is drinking, Denny.
Wow. Nice. Nice. You know what? I'm going to add in this section, I'm going to go add a beer. Again, not noteworthy beer. It's one we talked about last episode. That's one of our new and noteworthy, or one of our untapped listeners checked into. I don't remember who. I'm sorry. My memory is not that good for short term. But it's the Heretic barley wine beer. The Monster Cookie barley wine. Do you remember that one?
Monster Cookie.
I have the label right here.
Who made it?
Wait, Heretic?
Heretic. So
that's glossy. Here we go. That's better.
Let's see. Who checked into this one recently?
So it's the chocolate chip barley wine beer. And on air, I believe I mentioned that I'm intrigued by it because I love Heretic Brewing and I love barley wines. But I was scared because it sounds like a very sweet barley wine.
Right.
With
so
cookie.
You checked into it a few days ago.
Yeah.
And I think the conversation was between you and Jeff Seiler. Hides the ABV very well, you said.
Yeah,
only
it
a
did.
slight pleasant burn.
For being as high octane, it's 11.5%, 16 ounce can of beer. And honestly, for being as sweet as it was, it really didn't have any alcohol burn to it. There might have been a slight hint of it at moments, but it wasn't overwhelming. But it was as I feared. This beer was way too sweet. And I did get hints of the barley wine in there at the beginning, and it did kind of taste like a Monster Cookie, would taste. But in my opinion, it just ruined what was hopefully a very good barley wine, and just made it way too sweet. I drank the whole 16 ounces. I don't think my daughter Haley finished hers. I think she dumped her glass into mine, and
everybody
Sarah,
dumps their beer into your glass.
And I think Sarah dumped her glass into mine too. She had a little taster, and she's like, "No, not doing it." So just wanted.
Oddly enough, the description on Untapped at the very last sentence says it finishes dry and crisp without any cloyingly sweet aftertaste.
I would not say dry and crisp. I wouldn't say dry and crisp. I'd say it still has, you're still left with that sweetness all the way through from the very beginning. Like the first sip you take, it's just like in your face sweetness, and then it carries on to the end. But, I wouldn't say dry.
Yeah.
I'd
Haley
say
said she finished it.
She did drink it?
Hers. She didn't mind it, especially because it wasn't too boozy.
Yeah, it wasn't too boozy. For 11.5%, that impressed me. So it was a well-made beer. I just think it didn't need to be made. That's the only thing. But made a well-made beer that don't make it again. I don't think.
How do you really feel about it? Jeez.
And I love Heretic. I think they do some great stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw some stuff that was good in it, but I don't want to drink it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Is that it for our questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless somebody else pops one up here in a little bit, that's going to be it for right now.
Okay, so let's get into the Brew Buzz. And the Brew Buzz is devoted to discussing various beer-related topics. And this week, as we already mentioned, we're going to discuss beer-influenced holiday recipes. Now, the way I went about this is I kind of wanted to get a variety of what do we call it again? Dishes.
Sure.
A variety of dishes that anyone could make is what my goal was. But the problem is that there's a lot out there that just isn't that good. So I picked out a few that I myself would like to try. And I think that our listeners might want to try some of these too. So I started off with the easy ones, and the first few, I actually have the ingredients and the the actual directions on how to do it. We'll go through that really quickly just so people understand how easy or difficult it is. It's not that difficult. These are easy ones. And then when we get to the last three, those are the ones I got from this other site that was like really in depth, and we couldn't like summarize the process easily. I can talk about it in general about these different recipes, but if you want to, find out about these yourself, really go follow the link that we're going to have in the show notes, and you can go right to the recipe and see for yourself. It's pretty complicated stuff. So let me start off with the first one here, Chris. This is going dessert. We're starting with dessert first. Who doesn't like dessert, right? And this one's called Holiday Ale Cutout Cookies. And this was found on craftbeer.com, and it was written by Lori Rice. Mm-hmm. And she writes here, these tender cookies use a concentrated spiced holiday ale and orange zest to create a dough that can be rolled thick and cut into all kinds of fun holiday shapes. They are perfectly enjoyable as they are, but feel free to decorate them with your favorite frosting. Choose a winter warmer style with an IBU of less than 40 with notes of holiday spice. So there's plenty of those around, right, during the holiday time. This is a perfect time for this recipe. All right, so the ingredients. There's two sides of this. There's a beer reduction, so you can use a beer reduction in the ingredients, and that is one 12-ounce holiday ale. So it's only using one beer, but you are using a 12-ounce bottle, so that's, hey, at least it's including beer in a significant amount. And then 3 tablespoons of light brown sugar. And then the cookies themselves are going to be used 3 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of orange zest, a half teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of allspice, a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, a pinch of brown or black pepper, a pinch of clove, of ground clove. Now here's the big thing: 2 sticks of butter.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you got to have a lot of butter, right? This is holiday time. You got to have 2 sticks of butter. So anytime I see 2 sticks of butter, I know that cookie's going to be good, because that's you got to have a lot of butter in those cookies.
It's going to be soft.
Yeah.
It's going to be a soft cookie.
Yeah. Then you have a half cup of light brown sugar, a half cup of granulated sugar. So pretty much a whole cup of sugar. That's good too, right? People like some sweetness in there. And then 1 egg and 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Now, in the directions, they give you a note. It says, plan ahead. The beer is reduced to concentrate the flavor. This process can take 30 to 45 minutes. The dough will need to rest in the fridge for an hour. Once cut, the trays will need to sit in the freezer for 10 minutes. And he says that's a great trick for helping the cookies keep their shape and clean edges during the baking process. So real quickly, to make the reduction, stir together the beer and brown sugar in a medium saucepan, bring to a simmer over medium-high heat, then reduce the heat to medium to maintain heavy simmer at a very low boil. Continue to cook, stirring often until the beer reduces to about 1.5 ounces, which will take 30 to 45 minutes. Watch the beer closely as it nears its full reduction, as it can burn if not stirred often. Set aside to cool completely. So that's the main ingredient with the beer, right? So that's going to concentrate those flavors and give you, really concentrated flavor for these cookies. Then you're going to stir together the flour, zest, orange zest, salt, allspice, nutmeg, pepper, and clove in a bowl. Set that aside. Now you're going to blend together the butter, the brown sugar, the sugar, and you're going to mix that on medium-high to get light and creamy, which is about 3 minutes. Then throw in an egg and the beer reduction and the vanilla. And the batter may look a little lumpy. With the mixer on low, gradually add the dry ingredients. Mix on medium until combined into a ball of dough. Divide that ball into 2 equal balls. Transfer to a sheet of plastic wrap. Flatten into a disc and wrap. Refrigerate for 1 hour. Roll out each disc on a floured surface to 1/2 inch thickness. Cut with desired shapes. We can get some. We should find some really cool beer shapes.
We need a beer glass cookie cutter.
Beer glass cookie cutters. Yeah. Then transfer the cookies to an ungreased baking sheet for at least 1 inch apart.
Yeah,
place
there's
the cookie sheet.
Butter in there.
Place the cookie sheet in the freezer for 10 minutes. Form dough scraps back into 1 disc. Refrigerate until ready to cut out and bake again. Okay. And then it says to bake the cookies for 14 minutes at 350. And they give a couple beers to consider. So everyone probably figures Great Lakes Brewing Company's Christmas Ale, right? Isn't that a good one? Everyone likes that one.
But the next one I like better.
You like this one better? Thirsty Dog Brewing's Brewing Company's 12 Dogs of
Yeah.
Christmas Ale. Is that one that?
That's in Akron. Thirsty
in
Dogs
Akron?
in Akron, and
Okay.
then Great Lakes is up in Cleveland. So I actually like the 12 Dogs of Christmas more than I like Great Lakes Christmas Ale.
Okay. So there you go. This is one that I've already talked Sarah into making for me. So we're going to make this holiday cookie next weekend. And we're going to go through the process, and I'll report back to you on our next show on how it turned out. Maybe
Well,
take some
Denny,
pictures.
Haley just made a very wonderful recommendation. You should consider doing a live show of making one of the recipes. I mean, if you're going to do it already, I mean,
Yeah, I don't think you want to see that. That might be
come
that might be a
on.
mess. But yeah,
This is a
I'll
request from
consider
your
it.
own daughter.
I'll consider it. I'll consider it. But
Haley, you should come by and help him.
yeah, maybe yeah.
Just saying.
So that.
Just saying.
What do you think, Chris? You might try these cookies yourself.
You know what? I don't really cook a whole lot anymore.
You don't cook? What do you? Come on, you're a chef. You should be.
So
Chefing.
look, yeah. So here's the thing. I did chef over Thanksgiving. I had a friend of mine who had never prepared a turkey in his life. Normally, his husband would help him take care of all this stuff, but he decided to go live on Facebook like we're doing right now, and go, okay, well, what do I do? Probably one of the most funny things I've ever seen. Watching someone gag 3 or 4 times while they're trying to pull the giblet bag out, and what do I do with this stuff? Oh, hey, I want you to take butter and I want you to rub it on the outside of the turkey. You want me to do what?
Yeah.
Yeah, rub some butter on the outside. No. So was able to help him walk through that, but that was about as much cooking as I did. I didn't even do much cooking on while we were camping.
Camping? I know. I while you were camping, I was thinking, okay, they're going to be out there cooking the campfire, some weenies on a stick. No, you guys are at a restaurant eating
Basically
at a restaurant. I'm like,
that
come
was
on.
before we got to the campsite. Give me a break. Yeah, that was that was before we got to our campsite. We stayed at a KOA, so nothing like ridiculous and over the top. But the downside to it is that the interstate was probably about 500 feet from where we pitched our tent. So
so the road noise lulled you to sleep, right?
yeah, that part wouldn't have been bad, but when the semis went by,
Yeah.
that's
the
when
whole,
it got really loud.
Yeah, the whole tent's shaking, right?
Pretty much.
Now I saw a picture of you guys like with a flamethrower like chimney fire going out. What
Yeah.
was that? Was that provided by the campsite?
It was. So there was no open fire pits. They were all those chimeneas. So we had expected that we were going to be able to do things like we wanted to do like twice baked potatoes because we made flank steak for dinner one night and found out that they did not have an open fire pit. So it was kind of limited what we made. So we did everything on just our regular camp stove. So yeah, it was used a little lighter fluid, got the fire started in there pretty well, and
Yeah. I thought you were gonna catch the whole place on fire, but there's no trees there, right?
it was a controlled burn. We were fine. We were the only idiots in a tent. Everybody else was in RVs.
In RVs, yeah. Nobody stays at a KOA in a tent. That's RV only.
We do.
Did you have your little plug in there? You had your RV plug in. You plugged in your
It was
iPhones
nice.
and TVs.
It wasn't. Yeah, well, we had the. I have a solar panel that I can charge phones and stuff off of if we are camping. But it was nice. We had our own water. We had electrical hookup at our tent site.
Yeah.
At our tent site, which was kind of nice. So.
Okay.
But the layout, where the tent sites were, right next to the freaking interstate.
Yeah, that would have been miserable.
So, gotta crack this one open.
All right, yeah, I'm drinking my Cascade Lakes now.
And this is a great notion. I can't get it to focus. There we go. I was gonna say I don't have a ton of light in here.
It's looking good though. Looks good.
Yeah, I don't want everybody seeing what my bedroom looks like. Yeah, but
okay, so Chris, that was the dessert. Now let's get to the real dessert.
yeah, Christmas beer sangria.
Yeah, what about? Have you ever had a Christmas beer sangria before?
No, but I think I'd like to.
Yeah.
Haley, I'll make this one. I'll make this one on screen. So This came from timeandlove.com by Jenny Hernandez. And Jenny wrote, if you love a festive beer during the holidays, you are going to love this Christmas beer sangria. Sangria doesn't have to be limited to just wine. Beer makes a wonderful sangria.
Yeah.
For this recipe, the author used Lagunitas brown sugar ale.
I do love that beer.
Which I'm just realizing I'm all like flush underneath it here right now.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, what is going on?
It's warm in here. But the Lagunitas brown sugar, that whether you talk about Lagunitas, like them or love them, the brown sugar and what's the little thing? A little something something.
Mm-hmm.
I always like those.
Yeah,
those are always good.
Those are good.
I do have to turn the fan on because it is getting rather warm in here.
Okay, turn the fan on. I'll talk a little bit. So,
okay.
Yeah, so interesting thing about Lagunitas Brown Sugar Ale is that this beer came from a lack of being able to get their fermentation, to get their sugars correct in the beer they're making. They wanted to have a high octane beer. Something went wrong where they didn't get enough sugar and from the grains. So they at the last minute they had to go find an alternative to raise up the sugars to get what they wanted out of this beer. So Tony, whatever his name is, I can't think of his last name. Not McGee, right? It's Tony McGee.
No idea.
No, yeah. He goes out and he goes to the supermarket and he buys every single bag of brown sugar, literally brown sugar. And he brings it back and he pours this brown sugar in, trying to save this beer to make sure he didn't waste all these ingredients that he's making. And it turns out that the beer didn't turn out the way they wanted it to do. I forget this is a story that he writes in his book that I have that is a really fun read that I recommend reading. Maybe I'll find it and put it on the website and the blog. I did start a new blog on the website that Chris and I can add little things to it. I put the first post on the day before Thanksgiving. If you want to go check out the post, go there and read the blog and let me know what you think. But maybe I'll put the book on there because this is a great little read. You can get it on Kindle. And that's where I got it. I got it on my Kindle. And it tells a lot of backstory behind Lagunitas. But, he tells this story. And it turned up, what ended up happening is the beer became this brown sugar beer and is a really good beer. And now they're forced to recreate it every year during Christmas time. Now, I think they did it every 2 years. I don't know if they're still doing it every 2 years now, or if they're doing it every year, or if they're even doing it at all. I need to check and find out if it's an annual beer now. But that little backstory there. Okay, Chris, go ahead and continue on.
All right, and where did you leave off? You were just going off on the story.
I was just.
You said you were going to talk.
I just talked. I was keeping the air live for our live listeners.
Okay. So we talked about the beer that they were using this one. You can definitely use your favorite Christmas ale for this recipe. But the base of the sangria is apple cider and vodka. The author loves adding fresh apples, orange slices, and cranberries to this festive Christmas beer sangria. Mm-hmm. And unlike traditional wine-based sangrias, you want to wait to add the beer. Mm-hmm. The sangria base of the apple cider, vodka, and fruits can be made a few hours in advance of serving. When you're ready to serve, pour in the beer because you don't want to lose all the carbonation from your beer.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll run through these. I'm not going to run through the amounts of the ingredients. I'm just going to run through the actual ingredients. Yeah. We're looking for apple cider, vodka, maple syrup. So, Josh, this might be right up your alley. 1 pomegranate, seeds removed. Keep the seeds. That's the edible part of the pomegranate. 1/2 cup of cranberries. I lied. 2 apples. An orange sliced, 2 cinnamon sticks, and 6 bottles of Christmas ale.
6 bottles for one
6
drink.
Bottles. Now, like they said up top, wait until you're ready to serve before you crack your beers open.
What she did is she actually found a pitcher. She had a pitcher that was fit 6 beers. She poured the beers into it and then just used that to pour in when they needed it.
Which I think that would be great. So prior to opening your beers, large pitcher, add the apple cider, vodka, maple syrup, pomegranate, cranberries, apple slices, orange slices, and cinnamon sticks. Stir it all together. refrigerate for at least 30 minutes, preferably 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so your vodka is going to pull a lot of your flavors out of all those ingredients that you put in there.
Nice.
And then when you're ready to serve, pour in the beer. If your pitcher isn't really large, you might not need all 6 bottles of beer. Stir it all together, serve, and enjoy.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for sangria.
Yeah.
And I don't like sweet things, but yeah, sangria is just something that can get you messed up fast. You know, because it is sweeter, easy to drink. You don't really taste the alcohol. This is something I would love to try. You gonna make this, Chris?
I'm probably, if I do, I don't like to commit.
Okay. If I can find brown sugar, I want to do it with brown sugar.
Okay.
So if I can find brown sugar locally, then I'll commit to it. I'm not going to do 6 beers, but I'll do, you know, a few.
It might be a fun one to do because there's a little bit of prep into this one too. Slicing the apple, slicing the orange, you know, putting all that stuff together, mixing it all up. That might be a fun one to do just to video the assembly. Mm-hmm. Throw it up on our website or something.
Okay.
Or on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, we're doing YouTube. All right. So those are good. So let's get into another article that had 3. This is a whole meal. So they recommended 3 different things for Thanksgiving meal. This is called, the article was One Sumptuous Holiday Meal Made with Beer. And this was on the October website, and it was written by Jackie Dodd. I'll start with the first one, and then Chris, I'll let you do the next 2, and then I'll go in and intro into the last 3, and we can go back and forth from there. Okay. So the first one is Scotch Ale Candied Sweet Potatoes. Now, come on, everyone.
You've got me there.
Yeah. For one thing, Scotch Ale, great. Now, when I read this, I'm like, oh, yeah, I want this. Then I started looking at the ingredients. I will read the amount of ingredients in this because it's very important. 3 pounds of sweet potatoes. That's no doubt there. Cut into 1-inch cubes. 1 cup of packed light brown sugar. 1/2 cup of unsalted butter. 1/2 cup of Scotch Ale. Only a 1/2 cup of Scotch Ale. That's like, what the hell? I need more Scotch Ale.
No, you use the 1/2 cup, and then you get to drink the other half of the bottle.
I would rather see this recipe use the reduction process, right? Get a whole bottle and reduce it into a 1/2 cup, right? That's what they should do. Then you have some salt and some pecans. I love pecans. Yeah. Add the potatoes to an 8x8 baking dish. Add the brown sugar, the butter, the Scotch Ale, and salt to the saucepan over high heat. Bring to a boil, stirring frequently for 5 minutes. Pour the caramel sauce over the potatoes. Bake the potatoes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. Stir, coating all the potatoes in the caramel sauce. Return to the oven and bake until potatoes are fork tender. About 20 additional. Fork tender.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Hey, this is Facebook Live. I can't be cussing on here, right?
Oh, come on. You can.
Do they censor us?
No.
Okay.
This is the United States of America, Denny.
Yeah.
You fought for our ability to be able to say things.
I'm thinking the 15-second delay is them censoring us if they need to, right?
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine how many people they just have sitting by going, all right,
beep, beep.
Oh, hit the button.
All right. And then, so about 20 more minutes of cooking until it's tender. Then spoon the sauce over potatoes, sprinkle with pecans, and serve warm. Yeah, sounds good.
That does sound good. I actually used a Scotch ale a few years back to actually make barbecue sauce with.
Oh, nice.
Downside is, though, if you reduce it too much, it gets really hoppy.
Really?
It gets bitter. There's a lot of so I say hoppy, but like bitter.
Okay.
The sugars can potentially burn and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I think you got to be careful. Yeah, not to burn it. But Scotch ales are usually low IBU, so the bitterness should be really low.
So the reason that I said hoppy is that's what I remember. It popped up in my head is when I first tasted it. It was like this big punch of bitter, and I went, "Oh, I forgot the hops will concentrate." And then I thought about what you just said. It's super low on the hop side, right?
Yeah.
So it's just there's a ton of sugar in it.
Okay.
All right. Next on this one is going to be the brown sugar Rausch beer glazed ham. Oh, this sounds so good.
And I was about ready because we have we buy a whole pig, and then we have 4 hams that come with each pig, and we make ham all the time. Now again, they're using already pre-cooked ham, but
Right.
we don't. We have to cook it, from raw.
Do you guys cure them at all or
No,
anything?
well,
or
they're
do you-
cured. They're cured,
Okay.
but they're not cooked. They cure them at the butcher.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, so it's cured, and then it's bone-in ham, and then I just go ahead and do all the prep, and then we bake it for whatever time with the foil on there. I put cloves. I cut it in crisscross in
Yeah.
the fat. I put some cloves in there. We bake it with foil on there, and then we have a sauce that we make with brown sugar and I don't know, a bunch of ingredients. And I end up coating that as I coat it on there a couple times at the end of the baking to get it nice and caramelized on top. It works. Turns out really nice.
That sounds really good. So,
Yeah.
if you're not aware, a Rausch beer is a smoked beer.
Yes.
And
But they
my
only
buddy
want a quarter cup of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, give me some beer in these recipes.
And my friend Trey makes an amazing Rausch beer. Normally, I don't like them, but and I know we talked about this a while back. Anything he makes, I'm always like, okay, I'll give it a try because it's normally good. So, all right. So we're gonna be looking for a spiral cut ham, fully cooked.
Come on, that's too easy. But you don't want to
then
kill off these people that don't know how to cook ham. So
No, I mean, and ham's not something that most people cook anyway.
No,
There's
no.
most people buy it already cooked and
Yeah.
cured and all that good stuff. So you're looking for a spiral cut ham, fully cooked, couple of cups of brown sugar, only a quarter cup of Rausch beer.
I know. Wow.
Some cayenne pepper and some smoked salt, which is optional. But I mean, if you're already going for the smoked flavor out of the beer, we might as well put some smoked salt in there too.
Yeah.
And what it's looking like is that as far as preparation goes, remove from the oven. Okay, I'm going to call him out on something real quick. So the instructions say preheat to 325, add the ham to a roasting rack in the pan, cover with foil, bake for 20 minutes. It tells you to combine all your other ingredients, remove the foil, use a basting brush, bake for 15 minutes, remove from the oven when the ham reaches approximately 120 degrees.
It's already cooked.
It's already cooked, but food safety will tell you that you need to heat your food to at least 165 degrees before it's safe to serve. So, Mr. or Miss Jackie Dodd, you might need to get that checked out.
Okay.
So make sure your food, guys, when you're heating up food, it needs to be 165 degrees or hotter, but you don't want to be cooking your food super hot because then it gets dry and all.
Yeah.
gross.
I think that's what they're trying to do is prevent you from over drying it out.
And 120 degrees isn't really that warm.
Yeah, that's true.
So, 165 if you guys are heating up food. It'll tell you that right on the ham that you buy. Make sure you cook it to 165 degrees, even if it's already cooked. But you could eat it cold. That's not a big deal. If you want some good fun, go read about the...
What's the difference? What's the difference between eating this already cooked ham at 120 or cold?
I'm going to teach you about something called the temperature danger zone, Denny. Now, I know it's changed since I've had to go through temperature danger zone.
You're looking it up. Okay.
Well, so look, it's changed since I've gone through the serve safe sanitation, whatever you want to call the test. I used to proctor this test.
Okay.
And when I used to proctor it, the temperature danger zone it was 41 degrees to 145, I believe, which was where bacteria tends to grow the best.
Okay.
In between those two temperatures. That's called the temperature danger zone. Now it's supposed to be between 40 and 140 is the temperature danger zone. But that's the range of temperatures that bacteria can reproduce quickly.
Okay.
So 120 degrees, that bacteria can grow really fast.
Okay.
It's like yeast, except yeast doesn't really go up to 120 or higher, but the bacteria, it can grow.
Okay.
Grow rather quickly.
Okay.
So I'm going to change that to 165 right in our
it.
notes.
Yeah, we don't need to have bad info in there. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't know the food safe
Look,
rules.
that we all learn. We really do. Okay. So, but yeah, you go from that brush one final time with the glaze, then sprinkle with the smoked salt. Oh, the smoked salt gets sprinkled on. Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, I still might use this recipe for one of our hams.
I would.
Yeah, because it still sounds good.
Now I just need to know where to find some commercial Rausch beers.
Yeah, so you'll have to go to a specialty shop and get the German one. It's always there. The Rausch beer. I can't remember the name. Spect something. I don't remember.
Oh, I know what
There's
you're
one that's
talking about.
always there, and I've been tempted to get it because I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just don't like smoked beers, so
Well, it's
you could always try. Right now, we should be getting Alaskan smoked porter.
Oh, really?
I mean, I think it's coming out. It should be coming out right about now. So you might look for that if you can get Alaskan.
Let's see. What screen am I sharing right now?
You're not sharing any screen.
Oh, I'm not sharing anything right now. I was going to try to share the screen because I'm looking for these beers real quick, but I'm not going to mess with that right now. That's for another time. And I'm breaking things. This is where you would normally edit things out. Okay, so here we go. But yeah, I definitely see one that pops up a lot. Schlenkeria.
Yeah, maybe that. It's something with an S. I know it's something with an S is
Okay.
the one that I see all the time.
Okay. All right. So back to our outline.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where that's the end of the ham. And then we're gonna move into your portion of this meal.
Yeah, okay, I'll do one. Yeah, I'll do. Well, no, go ahead and do one more.
Okay. All right. So the last part of this meal, you got to put some dessert in it. So we had the Scotch ale candied sweet potatoes, the Rausch beer glazed ham with brown sugar, and now barrel aged stout chocolate cubes. Oh,
It's kind of like some fudge type things.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just went and bought 4 bottles of a specific barrel aged stout today. That gets
KBS.
released. No, this one gets released on Black Friday every year. Bourbon County.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got the that Kentucky Fog, the one with the tea in it, is one of the ones I got.
Okay.
So I'd be interested in try that one. Anyway, the barrel aged chocolate cubes. You're gonna be using some sweetened condensed milk, 20 ounces of dark chocolate chips by weight. Yeah, always some Jubal Ale. I miss Deschutes, man. They make some good stuff.
Yeah.
You're only going to be using a third of a cup of
I know.
barrel aged stout beer. You know what?
So sad.
Make a double recipe, and that's at least 2/3 of a cup. Man,
2/3 of a cup. That's nothing.
I know. We're talking like what? 6 ounces.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. These three really kind of frustrated me because they didn't use a lot of beer. They're using very small amounts. I'd rather see them use a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, Denny, if you were going to make fudge and you were going to use, excuse me, a barrel aged stout, well, what off the top of your head, what's something you'd grab right away? Barrel aged stouts you were going to pick up right now.
Barrel aged. I don't know.
All right. Well, I've got 2 in my head right now.
Okay, you go ahead and tell me.
This was also at the store where I went and picked up my Bourbon County. Bourbon County would be cool, but I feel like, but Big Bad Baptist.
Oh, of course.
Because I saw you drank that the other day.
Yeah, I did have one. I did have one. Yeah.
Big Bad Baptist and New Holland Dragon's Milk,
Okay.
which is out of Michigan.
Okay.
Which is always one that we can find. I can find that in my grocery store, which I don't know. But I do like that one too. But
Yeah.
as far as just some barrel aged stout,
Yeah. Big Bad Baptist, of course. You're absolutely correct, and I can get that year round pretty much. Yeah. Okay. Well, good. That's good. And while you mentioned it, I did have a Big Baptist variant.
Mm-hmm.
We've spent the big bucks again to pick up another one of these 2021s. This is a double chocolate, double peanut butter cup.
Oh, geez.
And I had high expectations for it. I think this is the one maybe Haley didn't finish. She didn't like very much. I can't remember. This might be the one she poured back into my glass.
And she's willing. She wants to make sangria for Christmas, by the way.
Okay, we'll do that. If I can find brown sugar, I will do that. But I had high hopes for it because double chocolate, double peanut butter. Come on, that's got to be good. And it was lacking. This is the first big bad Baptist that I felt disappointed me. So, I think Haley said not enough peanut butter in it. It has a good nose of peanuts in it. It did have some flavor, but it wasn't like double peanuts, right? I didn't feel like it was a double peanut flavor. So we did have that one too.
Okay. Kevin Page said we're live stream hitting the big time. I told him we're big ballers now.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're famous now. We're famous Facebookers.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's on the Kaylee did finish it. It was the mint one she didn't finish.
No, there was one other one she didn't finish too, I thought. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to argue.
Okay.
You're right. She didn't like the mint one. Okay. Let's go back. Going back to Rogue. So Haley was able to find a Rogue peppermint bark milk stout, imperial milk stout, I think it was, and she brought it with her when she came, and we had it, and we had high expectations for this peppermint bark, which is going to have peppermint and chocolate, in a stout. And again, the peppermint flavor was so imitation flavored, like it tasted like you're drinking toothpaste mint, right? Peppermint toothpaste. And it was really disturbing. Again, I'm the only one that drank the whole damn thing. I thought Haley did too. I thought Sarah didn't drink it. She took one sip, spit it out, gave me the rest of her. That was the whole theme the whole night, was that Sarah just didn't like any of the beers. But again, I drank the whole bottle because I wasn't going to waste it. And I do have this nice, I'll go get it real quick. I'll get the bottle.
Okay. So here I am, just all by myself.
See, and it's Santa's Reserve. And Santa Reserve is not normally milk stout. I think I can.
So Haley said, I only had a small sample of the barley wine. I love peanut butter beers, so I finished that one, but it was lacking some flavor. It was both mints I didn't drink.
Yeah. Okay. So it was the mint. Yeah, the mint stuff she didn't really like. Yeah. But oh, that's right. That was another mint one. What was the other mint one I had? Oh, there's another. Oh, there was a Duke. Oh, wait, it's on my new Noteworthy. I can't talk about it right now.
Okay.
That one I really liked. That was a good. That one used the peppermint well, but. Again, look at this bottle, though. This is a good collecting bottle. So,
yeah.
So at least we got a bottle out of it. But the beer, again...
Put that back up again?
Oh.
Put that back up there again? Yeah, I like that one. Santa Claus is taking an axe to a candy cane. I like it.
Yeah. So disappointed in Rogue once again. Sorry. It is what it is. It had potential. He just kind of went too artificial with it.
Yeah, I feel that's we're gonna derail on that conversation.
Yeah.
Let's continue on to our food. This stuff sounds delicious.
Okay. All right. So now we're gonna go into some of the more complicated recipes, but I'm gonna tell you that the homebrewchief.com website has a whole section on beer recipes. I mean, there must be 200 recipes. Or more, maybe. I don't even know. There might be more. Some of them are free. Some of them you subscribe to get access to. I don't know how he determines which ones are free, which ones aren't. All the ones that I mentioned here are available on the site for free. But man, he really goes into some detail, and he uses beer. He uses, like, for example, he has an Allagash beer. He uses 4 25-ounce bottles of beer in the recipe.
Jeez.
I mean, come on. That's using the beer. Now, I feel bad because the beer is used for a turkey brine. And so you're not going to be able to use the beer after you brine it, right? So it's kind of wasted. So it's, use it as you wish. But this is homebrewchief.com. Sean Paxton is the chef, and he has a really good. I'll have links to the recipes, and you can go find and then go look and search the rest of his recipes. He's a lot of good stuff in there. I'm going to go ahead and try some of the recipes he spells out. He also likes to use organic, free-range meats and stuff. You know, he likes to use quality ingredients and quality beers. And all the beers he recommends for these different recipes are all like variant, you know, all kinds of really well respected breweries in beer. So he's not just like picking, you know, the same brewery. He's spreading it out amongst a lot of different breweries to make these dishes. So go check it out. I think you'll like it. But because these are way more complicated, what I've done is I've just kind of taken the recipe and just kind of spelled out the gist of what we're doing. You know, really quick summary. So these are really quick. So I'll go ahead and do the first one here. Going back to we haven't talked about holiday breakfast, right?
No,
I mean, we got to eat breakfast, right?
Dinner.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going backwards. This is nice.
Yeah, so let's go and have some beer-influenced breakfast meal. This is chocolate oatmeal stout pancakes with barley malt maple syrup. These chocolate oatmeal stout pancakes with barley malt maple syrup are quick to prepare and oh so tasty to eat. This recipe plays with the oats and a beer style that he loves, an oatmeal stout. Instead of making oatmeal, this recipe uses a percentage of oat flour, adding a unique silky texture and flavor to the final pancake. Layer the complexity of the oatmeal stout beer with extra chocolate, creates a harmonious, flavor-packed beer pancake recipe. I need to take a drink after that. All right. The carbonation helps these beer pancakes to be light, fluffy, and tender. These can be used for breakfast, brunch, or even as a dessert. Try topping these breakfast treats with a not-so-sweet whipped yogurt and barley malt maple syrup. Sounds good to me. How about you, Chris?
I'd definitely do it. I like when you could put carbonated beverages into things with flour.
Yeah.
Right, because it automatically gives you that bubbles. It gives the leavening to it, like things like baking soda and baking powder would do.
Yeah.
But it makes it a little it makes it nice and fluffy, like they said, fluffy, light, tender. It definitely helps put a little lift in your pancake too.
Yeah. Gives that. I like fluffy pancakes too. All right. How about this next one, Chris? Go ahead.
Bacon, pork, and beer stuffing.
Yes.
Yes.
Sounds great.
And this one, I love it because if I skip down, I've went all the way down to the last line. Beer options: 22 to 24 ounce beer, such as Bock, Dahlewitz. Yes, so we're using an appropriate amount of beer in our recipe this time. Yeah. Now, so let's see. When Mother Nature gives you pumpkins, why not use them? This stuffing recipe uses a hollowed out pumpkin or an heirloom pumpkin, winter squash, as a cooking dish. That the stuffing is placed into and roasted. As cooking stuffing in a turkey has several Sorry. Hang on. Let me
Hey, take a drink. Take a drink. I'm not going to edit this out either.
Good. I don't want you to. As cooking stuffing in a turkey has several... It's not me. This is written funny. Several issues with food safety, the temperature of the stuffing coming up to a safe to eat temperature of at least, what? 165 degrees.
He knows it.
Yeah. The turkey surrounding the stuffing is overcooked, dry, and a disappointment. Using the pumpkin as a cooking vessel versus a casserole dish exposes less surface area of the stuffing while cooking. So it steams with the This right here is why we're doing a live stream.
Wow, you got a one-track mind tonight.
I'm hungry now. We're talking about pancakes and my inner fat kid's coming out. All right. So it steams with the pumpkin as it cooks, creating a moist texture similar to stuffing that comes out of a turkey, making an excellent side dish that is also an edible serving dish.
I'm not going to eat the pumpkin, but...
No, but...
It is cool, though, right?
Yeah. So this we didn't really get into as far as ingredients go, but we do have the link that's going to go in there
Yeah.
as well. But I mean, it's a pretty extensive recipe, but my favorite part of it is that we're talking about like almost 2 quarts of beer in this recipe. And it's like we said earlier, the beer options, 22 to 24 ounces of beer, such as a Bock, a Doppelbock, Imperial Brown is where I've got it right there, or a pumpkin ale. Hey, look, you can use a pumpkin ale and they'll actually have some good purpose.
Yeah. I could use one of these Night Owl beers I bought for my lovely wife.
Sarah.
She's not going to drink.
Yeah, that's okay. All right.
Yeah.
Denny, we're going to bring up Allagash.
Okay. This is the last one. This is the last one. I mentioned that there's a recipe that uses 4 25-ounce bottles of Allagash beer. So this is called the Allagash Triple and Tangerine Beer Brined Turkey. I mean, I don't typically brine my turkey because I'm lazy. I don't want to have to prep it, 2 days ahead of time.
So worth it.
I know.
So
I need to try it, but I have to go buy a container to do it. I mean, maybe next year I'll try.
You have a cooler, right?
I have a cooler, but I don't want to.
That's what I brine all my stuff in.
I don't want to turkey infest it.
Then bleach it when you're done.
Okay.
I've got answers.
Maybe next year I'll go ahead. But then you have to, again, this guy does a great job of explaining all the different vessels you could use to brine your turkey and how to keep it safe. Because if you do use a cooler, like Chris is saying, you have to add ice to it, but you don't want to water down your brine. So they say put ice into Ziploc bags and put it in there to keep the turkey at the right temperature so it doesn't go bad. Again, this site is fantastic for giving you all kinds of information. I was really, really pleased with it. So maybe next year I will try to brine it, but I won't be using 4 bottles of Allagash Triple because I can't get that beer anyway, so I'm not going to waste it if I did have it. But maybe I'll use a different beer, a different triple, right? Maybe I can use New Belgium's Triple, put a 6-pack in.
Yeah, there you go.
That might work. Okay. So the delicate flavors from Allagash Brewing's version of a Belgian-style triple shines when combined with seasonal tangerine and anise-flavored fennel. These key flavors combined are to create a Belgian-style beer brine for poultry. The results become an Allagash triple and tangerine beer brine turkey. One of the reasons the beer brine turkey recipe is so delicious is the beer being used. The Belgian-style triple is one of his favorite styles, brewed with very few malts. The clean malt flavor shines with a light hint of honey, crisp and elegant. Nugget Hallertau hops add just enough bitter balance to this 9% ABV beer. So he's using a 9% beer to brine his turkey. So
that's a little over the top, though, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least in my opinion. But hey, you know what?
Hey, that's why he's a gourmet chef, a gourmet beer chef. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pointing to myself. Says the guy who ordered his Thanksgiving dinner for the 6 of us. So.
You didn't make it? Oh my God! I thought you made dinner. I didn't know you ordered it.
No, we've seriously. It's been to the point in the last 3 or 4 years where we'll do occasional things, like we made a couple of desserts. But that was really about it. Mostly because we were leaving the very next day to go camping.
Yeah. That's
so we didn't
true.
want a ton of food.
That's true.
But yeah, like the main stuff, the turkey, the mashed potatoes, we got them all from Cracker Barrel. You guys have Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, we have Cracker Barrel. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it was $100, fed 6 of us. Then we all had it for dinner for on Sunday when we came home yesterday.
Yeah,
so
that works.
Fed us twice, $100. I mean, I went and picked it up the night before at about 7:30. It was all finished, done in the oven in an hour, and we ate.
Nice. Okay. Well, understood. But if I ever come for Thanksgiving dinner, you're gonna make me a turkey.
I will You know what? I will cure a ham. I will brine a turkey.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Now we're talking. All right. So again, this 9% ABV beer ABV beer. Gives off the aroma a touch of herbal undertones. The big hit of the flavor comes from the Belgian yeast strain that, when fermented, brings out the esters and phenols to accentuate the malt and hop ratio brilliantly. These flavors help mask the beer's alcohol content. These flavors infuse together and into the turkey or chicken or Cornish game hens to create a juicy, moist, and succulent bird that will make everyone want seconds and leftovers, if any are left. And he mentions at the end here that, we're talking about turkey right now for the holidays, but you can do this in a smaller batch with chicken or Cornish game hens, which I like the idea of the Cornish game hens, because then I don't need to use as much beer, and I can put those into a Ziploc bag, right? Put a couple of those in a Ziploc bag, a gallon bag, and then put the brine in there and just let it sit in the refrigerator for, a day. So that might be an option too.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is our turkey. Or
I like this.
Yeah,
I like this a lot.
Yeah. And that's it. That's it for the Brew Buzz. Any questions from our listeners that?
I did just get a little bit of grief from my cousin Josh. The chef didn't cook. Who are you and what have you done with Chris?
Yeah.
My buddy Bill said reduce the Xmas pickle, combine with cream cheese and chive to add to a smoked salmon on a bagel with pickled onion.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
Oh yeah, that would work. Man, is he a chef too?
Bill, yeah, I went to culinary school with Bill.
Okay,
and
nice.
I believe he used to live in New Jersey. Now he lives maybe even an hour and a half from me now in Florida.
Nice.
But yeah, I do like that idea. And then my cousin Josh also asked, any chocolate or peanut butter alcohol that you guys would recommend? I recommended Screwball whiskey, which is peanut butter whiskey, which that's pretty delicious stuff just on ice.
Yeah.
It can make some fun drinks. Let's just say that.
I my distilled spirits only come in 2 flavors, and that's tequila and gin. Yeah. Those are my 2 favorites. I mean, I can drink other stuff, but I prefer those 2 if I'm going to drink distilled spirits.
If I'm going to go after anything, the only reason I had that whiskey was just because of my brother. My brother had it when we went to visit him back in March when he was in. He rented a house a couple hours south of us, so we went and hung out with him for a couple of days, and then I'm with you, Denny. I'm all about tequila as far as a drink goes, and I'm normally just making pretty simple margaritas with it and keeping a pitcher of them in the fridge, and then having that if it doesn't feel like a beer kind of day, which is weird, but it's tequila. Tequila is probably the biggest one that I go through.
Yeah, it's my favorite. But during summertime, having a nice gin and tonic, and when I say gin and tonic, I mean heavy on the gin, low on tonic, is very refreshing and makes you feel good during that hot summer. So if I was in Tampa, I'd be drinking. I'd probably stop my beer drinking and just drink gin and tonics all the time in the heat.
Yeah. Either that or mojitos.
Yeah, I'm not a big mojito fan. Sarah likes mojitos, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, that's it for the Brew Buzz. But last topic on our list, and of course we'll ask for questions if anything comes up in the end, but is our new and noteworthy beers. And Chris, I just got done talking, so why don't you go ahead and hit us with your new and noteworthy beers?
All right. So one of my new and noteworthy beers was one that I started off with tonight. I'm going to go out of order on my list here. But one of my new and noteworthy beers is this Gadget milkshake that I'm drinking here from Four Fathers Brewing. And if anyone heard our episode, I think it was our last episode, we talked about Four Fathers Brewing, how they sent us beers to replace a bad single beer that I received. So this was one of those beers that they sent me, and man, these beers have certainly made up for it. But the Gadget Milkshake from Four Fathers Brewing is a double IPA with mangoes, lactose, and vanilla bean. I rated this beer 4.25 caps on Untapped. And man, if I could get this beer a lot, I would drink this beer a lot. It's a little on the sweeter side, but the mango really stands out. And then the vanilla is just The vanilla isn't over the top, which I really do enjoy. I like that vanilla flavor. It's a little sweet, but I like this beer a lot. So 4.25 caps for that one.
Nice.
Second one on the list is from Freem Family Brewers out your way, Denny.
I love Freem.
They're in Oregon.
Yeah,
right?
Hood River.
Hood River.
Yeah.
Man, I love the fact that I can get a hold of their stuff occasionally because, man, I'm with you. Everything that I've had from them has just been spot on. And I got their Oktoberfest from the folks over at Tavor. I got a bottle of their Oktoberfest that I gave 4 caps to, and it was absolutely perfect to go along with Thanksgiving dinner. Just perfect. It was, like I said, just perfect. That's all I'm going to get into with it there.
No, Oktoberfest is a good beer to go with Thanksgiving dinner because it kind of like bridges the gaps between all the different things you're eating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like we talked about on our episode, was it our episode or was it the beer cast?
No, it was our last episode where we talked. Well, I don't know. We talked about Thanksgiving on both shows, so it's hard to tell.
If you want to find out what we talked about, go listen to our last episode or go listen to our most recent episode of the Fermented Reality Beer Cast. Yeah. As Dan would like to say, I want to give a big shout out to the Fermented Reality Beer Cast. But my third beer, this was basically a fruit smoothie that was masquerading as beer. And it was called Brains. From Drecker Brewing Company. It was their blackberry, passion fruit, and pineapple. There was so much fruit puree in this thing, Denny. I mean, the top half of the cup, or the top half of the can, when you poured it out, it was the viscosity of beer. And then as you got to the bottom of the can, it was thick. It was, fruit puree. And, it was really good. It really was. And I kind of joked with, I was joking around with Megan. I was like, this is basically a breakfast drink. I could drink this at breakfast and then, I had a beer at breakfast too. So, but Drecker Brewing Company out of, I believe, Fargo, North Dakota.
They're in North Dakota. I'm not sure.
They are in North Dakota.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Fargo or another town in North Dakota.
A friend of mine who lives here locally, she's from that town in Fargo or in North Dakota. But man, Drecker, guys, if you can get a hold of Drecker's stuff, they make some pretty fantastic beers. I gave this beer a 4.5 cap rating. Nice. And as far as beers go, why I didn't give it a 5 cap rating, it was fruit juice. It really was. I'm Denny. I think you might agree with me for this, or at least the majority of this. I want beer flavored beer.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, right? I agree. I agree.
I love when you can put blackberry or pineapple or passion fruit in a beer, which is what was in this one. But it was basically, it really was. It was just fruit. It was a fruit bomb. Mm-hmm. I joke a little, but you could have probably passed this off as a smoothie for breakfast and had it in the morning. Well, like this one. This one's no different, but this is at least a sour ale, and it's not like super thick at the bottom, but it's still good. Raspberries, vanilla. But what about you, Denny? Let's hear about some of your new and noteworthy beers.
Yeah, I have a few, and it's funny because one of the ones I just looked down there and I was giving crap to Big Bad Baptist double chocolate, double peanut butter, but it's one of my noteworthy beers. So I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to start off with Western Collective. Remember, I think on a show a few episodes ago, we mentioned that we read an article. I think we read an article or talked about how Western Collective has gone out and hired new brewers to to make their beer world class. And we talked about what is world class beer. I finally was able to go out and grab 6 new Western Collective beers to try. I wanted to see if they have truly stepped up their game and became closer to what they want to be world class. And so I'm going to talk about a few of them, or a couple of them tonight. I think I've had all of them but one. I think I have a expensive Baltic Porter that I'm going to drink here shortly. I'm a sucker for Baltic Porter, so I had to go ahead and spend the big bucks for this 16-ounce can because I love Baltic Porter, and why not?
Yeah.
Why not go and see what they can do with that style? But the first one I'm going to talk about from Western Collective is their Mountain Pacific Imperial Stout. This is a mocha Imperial Stout. I gave this beer a 5 cap rating. So I think, with this beer, by far my most favorite Western Collective beer to date is this beer. This is, again, and sorry, Haley, you left before we opened this beer, but Mom liked this beer, so so you missed out. I'll have to go try to find more of this when you come back because I think you'll enjoy this too. But here's what I wrote on tap. I said, very nice. The coffee addition is perfect, blending well with the dark chocolate and roasted malt flavors. Upon initial mouthfeel, you feel like it will be sweet, but it's an illusion because the beer is well balanced between all the characteristics and is great. And I also wrote in a comment here, my favorite Western Collective beer to date. Looking forward to more beers like this in the future. The IPAs are good, but perfecting other styles is the best. And I agree. They can go ahead and try to focus on their hazy IPA series and their other hazy imperial beers or whatever. That's great. IPA sells. They have to have good IPAs. But in my opinion, if you can nail these other styles, that's where the real benefit for me is. I'm going to go buy your other beers, not necessarily your hazy ones, because I can get a hazy beer, all over the place, and they're pretty much all taste the same for the most part. So 5 cap rating is this is a great beer. Mm-hmm. So I liked it. I know Tom Byrne checked into it like a week before I did, and he thought that maybe there's some things lacking in there. I didn't get the same feeling that he got. I don't know if there's different, and I swear when beer is packaged, there can be a difference between beers packaged at one part of the line and beers packaged on another part of the line because, for example, I'm drinking that Crux fermentation beer, the Sabro fresh hop IPA, and the first 4-pack I got, I've absolutely loved. It was fantastic. The second 4-pack I got, it's still good, but it's not as good as that first 4-pack. Now it's it's a week or two older, but still, when I finished that last beer of that first 4-pack, was just a day before I finished, I started drinking this other 4-pack. So I think that beers can have a different profile depending on where, when they're getting packaged, and you can get different flavors. So maybe Tom's beer he got was at a spot where it didn't really showcase the flavors, and the one I got, for whatever reason, is showing a lot more flavor, and I really enjoyed it. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. The next beer, I already mentioned the Big Bad Baptist Double Chocolate Double Peanut Butter Cup, or Peanut Butter Imperial Stout. I get a 4.5 cap rating. So it wasn't a 5. It was a 4.5. Still a good beer. So I'll leave that one alone. The next one is the Western Collective Peekaboo Juice New England IPA. Now, this is the beer that they originally released last year or whatever, and I had it and I did not like it. It was touted as a hazy IPA. I could see through the beer, not a hazy IPA. The flavors weren't of a traditional New England style IPA, so I ranked it lower than I ranked it lower. But they redid the recipe. Now, this is where I have a problem. If a brewery is going to go and revisit a beer and redo the recipe drastically to make it a totally different beer, I think the beer should be a different name. They shouldn't name the same beer because people have if they already had the other beer and they didn't like it, like me, if I didn't know that they redid this beer, I wouldn't go out and buy it, right? I'm not going to go back to a beer and pay that high price knowing that I didn't like it. So I think it's it's wrong for them to go and not just name this beer a new beer instead of using the same name. But because I'm in the know, I knew it was a new formula of recipe. I went ahead and got it, and they really did a really good job here. I gave this beer a 4.25 rating. Here's what I said on Untappd. The new version is a huge improvement over the initial version. The nose smells wonderful with a candied citrus aroma that falls into the initial flavor that quickly transitions to a nice piney bitterness and a drier finish. Very smooth and enjoyable IPA. Yeah, I like this beer. I'll drink this beer more the way it is now than it was previously because it was
Nice.
it was not a good beer. So they really stepped up the beer. I question why they used the same name for a beer that sucked before. Now, maybe people liked the other beer, but I just didn't like the other beer. But that's just me. Okay. Now to go to the next one is the Dewclaw Brewing. It's called the Patriarchy Candy Cane Imperial Stout, the 2020 version. And trying to find this one on here. Okay, so I gave this one a 4 cap rating. And this is, I said, a nice roasty malt up front with some mint and chocolate midway through. It finishes dry and bitter like a 95% dark chocolate bar. There is a hint of lactose in there, but luckily somewhat hidden. And I had that on Black Friday. So I don't know why they put lactose in this beer. It doesn't need lactose. In fact, I prefer beers without lactose because I think that artificial sweetener. I was watching the beer garden beers you guys
drinking
did.
at the beer garden.
They drink at the beer garden. And the way Joel explained why he doesn't like lactose in beers is the same exact thing to me. And he nailed it exactly with that whole saccharin flavor, right? I remember saccharin sodas back when I was a kid. And you drink that thing and you're like, oh my gosh, this aftertaste is so horrible. And it just sticks with you. That's the same thing I get with lactose. I just don't like that lactose artificial sweetener type flavor. Now, lactose is not an artificial sweetener, but it gives you that off flavor, in mine and Joel's opinion, that turns you off to the beer. And this beer didn't have a high amount of it, but you could tell that there was lactose in it just by that flavor profile that you would get a hint of at the end of the beer. So, but I still gave it a 4 cap rating. There you go. There's my beers.
All right. Well, everybody got your beers in. I got let's see. One more question.
Okay.
And then we'll
wrap it up.
I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So, which is your favorite Chimay?
Blue, the Grand Reserve.
Same. Yeah, same.
I mean, this is my only favorite. It's the one I prefer.
Yeah. So I like the blue, but I like the red too. But
who asked that question?
Bill. Bill asked that question again.
All right. What's Bill's favorite? I want to find out what Bill's favorite is.
Yeah, and Bill, if you're still on here,
he gave up on us.
His question was 8 minutes ago, so I mean, I figure he's on there. Blue, I'm with you, Denny. It's probably my favorite. I'll second it with red, right behind it. But yeah, that's the ones I like.
Okay. Is that it then?
That is going to be it. Let's see if that answer pops up here in just a little bit. But
okay. Well, we'll go on to our time to go ahead and raise a glass. Of course, my third glass is empty.
Yeah,
but I'll raise my glass
of
blue. Blue. Okay, so it's unanimous. Everyone likes blue the best. I think
blue's awesome.
But yeah, it's time to raise a glass and give a toast to some people we'd like to give a toast to. So, Chris, why don't you go ahead and raise your glass?
Yeah, I'd love to raise a glass to everybody who participated in this this initial Facebook Live using Zoom to kind of stream this whole get together on this episode. So cheers to everybody. Josh, Bill, Haley, Who else was on here?
Mark Church.
Mark Church was on here. Kevin Page was on here. Guys, if I miss anybody, I'm sorry.
Tara was on there for a minute.
Tara got in here. Jeff Seiler.
Yeah. Eric Gronley.
Eric Gronley. Who said Eric Glover.
Eric Glover, yeah. Mike Mahoney.
Mahoney.
See, I'm just just popping off. My short-term memory is like on fire tonight.
On fire today, right? So, guys, thank you for checking in with us. And yes, Josh, it was a lot of fun to be able to do that, kind of interact with you guys. To me, I think this went rather well.
Yeah.
I'd like to do this again.
All right.
So I want to raise a glass to all of you guys. Cheers to everyone who got on here, asked us questions, interacted with us while we were recording. Remember, this will be released on Thursday. So yes. What's that? The 3rd?
The 3rd, yeah.
Yeah, December 3rd.
Awesome.
What about you, Denny? Who would you like to raise a glass to?
Well, first off, I want to raise a glass to William Schlimmer, our Patreon toast of the night. Thank you, William, for joining in on a Patreon and being a virtual producer. We really appreciate it. So cheers to you. And then my second toast is going out to you and Joel on your day drinking and Megan for your day drinking at the beer garden. I'll tell you what, I know that you had to fix a couple things that Joel didn't like, but I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed watching that day drinking. You guys are naturals. Just the flow, the drinking the beers, the interact, just, I don't know, you guys are natural at doing this video stuff. I'm not so natural. I feel totally uncomfortable in front of the camera, but you guys pulled off really well, and I really enjoyed just learning a little bit more about, Joel's background with the whole lactose thing that he doesn't like, and drinking those beers from Four Fathers that I was nervous with the first beer.
Yeah.
Because things didn't look like it. Like all of a sudden he started mentioning Band-Aid and I'm like,
rubber balloon.
I'm like, this is not good. And then the next beers you guys had from them were like out of the world, and it just made me feel excited, and to find out that they really enjoyed the video too made me happy. So I just want to raise my glass to you guys for doing a great job with that. And on that note, we're starting to do video on Tap to Craft. We're doing video with the Fermented Reality Beer Cast. I want to raise a glass to us for that thing. If you've tried the first episode and we're not sure what we're doing, then you try the second episode and still not sure. Don't give up on us, because I feel the third episode, we're finally starting to gel as 5 hosts together. Yeah. The conversation is really, I really enjoyed the conversation. If you watch the video that they have online, I edited the show, I enjoyed the show recording. I enjoyed editing it. And then I watched the video of it, and I still enjoyed that even more, because if you're watching what we're doing right now, you can see stuff going on with our reactions, our faces, and that you can't necessarily tell what's going on while listening. And it just made me laugh out loud at several of the things that went on during that show. So, hey, go out there and check out the Fermented Reality Beercast, episode 3. Check out the video on YouTube. That's a partial. That has most, like 3/4 of the show. The audio version has an additional 30 minutes that we recorded in a different platform that Chris couldn't record for the video. So that will fill in some gaps that you don't see on the video. But hey, it's going somewhere. We're finding our feet, and we are going to make something nice with that show as well. So don't give up on us. Yeah. All right. And of course, being a former serviceman, I want to raise my glass and thank all those who have served and who are currently serving in U.S. military services, protecting our freedoms. I hope you all who are deployed are able to return home safely to your families very soon. And Chris, why don't you go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors?
Love to. At the forefront of the craft beer movement, Brewer Shirts was one of the first to create apparel that celebrates the art of brewing and the love of fine beer. Never too trendy, always comfortable, and offering affordable quality. They screen print their gear by hand in their studio using eco-friendly inks, materials, and processes. Visit their online store at brewershirts.com and use the coupon code TAPTHECRAFT2020 to receive 15% off full-priced items.
And you can find the beers and the links to the articles mentioned in the show on our show notes located on the show post at tapthecraft.com. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, I can be found on Twitter, Instagram, and Tapped at Loose Screw. And Chris, how can others follow you?
So you can find me never on Twitter, Chris_McKenzie82, or Untapped on Instagram at MCK1345. And of course, you can always interact with us through our social handles at Tap the Craft on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and Twitter, and
everywhere. Yeah, we're everywhere.
Everywhere you go, we are Tap the Craft.
All right. One more thing I forgot to mention. I've had a listener request for us to maybe open up a Discord server, and I put a poll on Twitter about
That's why
just
I didn't
that.
See it.
Well, yeah, I know you didn't see it. And one of the things is that Matt Knight, who asked us, hey, would you guys consider having a Discord server where we could have more detailed conversations that aren't limited to Twitter or stuff, where we can interact more with the community in a form like that? And I said, well, I don't know. And he said he wanted to know specifically if we had one, would Chris participate, because he doesn't participate in Twitter. Right. And a lot of people aren't really in the Facebook as much as they were at one time. So I put a poll out there, and what I found out is that most people don't know what a Discord server is. And basically a Discord server was, I think originally they were made for allowing like-minded individuals to join in to do some online gaming and find teams to team up on multiplayer. I think that's what it was for. But it's turned into a lot more than that. Now it's a place where you can have your own community that can participate in different channels of conversation that surround different topics. And you can just go and just add, stuff, just have a conversation and add to it, and anyone can join in that is allowed into the server.
Cool. You pretty much nailed that one, Denny. I mean, just kind of doing some slight research on it through businessinsider.com. Discord is a group chatting platform originally built for gamers, but which has become a general use platform for all sorts of communities. It's divided into servers, each of which has its own members, topics, rules, and channels.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about starting a Discord server. Now, the problem is I don't participate in Discord because I don't have time to participate in all social media as it is. And I'm afraid that if I were to start it and then not be active in it, that might turn off our listeners. So I want to encourage anyone listening to this show right now, give me your feedback. Would you use a Discord server if we use it? Even if Chris and I aren't necessarily in there all the time. Yeah. That if we just visited every so often and added our content, added some information in there, is that okay? If it's not okay, then I'm not going to do it, because I don't want our listeners to feel like we're not involved in something that you guys want to do. But it is a way to connect our community in another social media platform. So give us feedback. And if I get enough feedback that says, yes, let's do it, I'll go ahead and start a Discord server. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey, it's last call. It's time to bring the show to a close. Under 2 hours, by the way.
I know. I'm so proud.
We did good with all those questions.
Yeah.
We want to thank you for downloading and listening. We ask you to please tell a friend, and of course, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, CastBox, Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and now on Amazon Podcasts, or however you listen to your podcast. And as a reminder, we release a new show every 2 weeks. Now go out there and spread the good word of craft beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.